Welcome to our new series of Discord.js version 14 Discord development. In this series, we're going to cover every aspect of the Discord.js library and make ourselves a general purpose Discord bot for private or commercial use. The timeline for this video is in the video time bar, so you can skip to the points you're most interested in, although I recommend you watching as is. Let's start with the basics. First off, you need to download and install the recommended version of the Node.js runtime to be able to run your bot on your system. And you need to have a code editor. I recommend using Visual Studio Code as it's, in my opinion, the best code editor available. Before we get started into the coding part, let's first get ourselves some extensions. One to make our code editor look a bit better and one to format our code automatically so we can have a universal code layout. First off, let's go down below and click on this settings icon, then go to extension. Here we're gonna search for One Dark Pro and we're gonna be installing this extension, and I'm gonna be selecting the flat version as it looks best to me. Now we're gonna be searching for Prettier and we're gonna be installing that extension. Now let's head back to our settings. And then inside of our search bar, we're gonna search for format on save and make sure that box is ticked. Now we're gonna search for format or default format, and we're gonna be selecting Prettier as our default code formatter. Alright, so let's start out by actually creating a folder inside of our desktop, and we're gonna call it, for example, mybot. Alright. And once we have done that, we'll drag that folder to our Visual Studio Code workspace. Now let's go ahead and open a new terminal, and inside of the terminal we're gonna type npm init-y, and that should give us a file called package.json. Here you can change the name, or you can change all of the values in here, but you don't really have to. This is not necessary for what we're doing. Now let's go back to the terminal and let's type npm i discord.js, and npm I means npm install discord.js. Alright, now that is done, we're gonna go ahead and click on this new file symbol, and we're gonna create two files, the first one being index.js and the second one being config.json. Alright, so let's go ahead to our index.js, and in here we're gonna get a property from the discord.js package, and the only property we need for this episode or to get our bot online is the client property. So we're gonna type const and we're gonna open curly brackets, and then we're gonna require discord.js just like this, and within the brackets, the curly brackets, we're gonna require the client property. Alright, and then now we have to create a new client instance. So we're gonna type const client, we're gonna define the instance as client, lowercase c, equals to a new client. Then here we're gonna create an object inside of the client, and we're gonna type intents, and we're gonna open an array of intents that we need to receive, or we want to receive. And for this tutorial we only need the guides intents. Alright, so we're gonna have the guides intents, and then we're gonna go down. Alright, so because I'm gonna show you what a token is and what it's done, but because we need to store some information to use in our bot, let's create a new client property, and we're gonna call it config. So client.config equals to require, and then here we're gonna add the location of our config.json file just like this. We're gonna save, and then we're gonna go down a couple more lines. We're gonna type client.login, and then here we're gonna type client.config.token, or you can have token as lowercase lettered. It depends what you will type in here in just a second. Once you have done that, then we're gonna do, because this is a promise, so we have the then, finally, and catch properties or callbacks. So we're gonna use the then callback, and we're gonna create an arrow function, and in here we're gonna say, or we're gonna tell the runtime to, or the bot to console log. Alright, and then here we're gonna use the this backticks, because we're gonna be using, I'm gonna show you why. So in here we're gonna type, for example, client logged in as, and here we're gonna add the $sign and the brackets. That's why we use the backticks. And here we're gonna type client.user.username. Alright, so once the bot has logged into the token that we're gonna provide to it, it's gonna console log back to us that the client is now connected and now has this username. Alright, once that is done, we're gonna go down and we're gonna make the bot do one more thing. We're gonna set an activity for the bot. So we're gonna type client.user.setActivity. And then here we're gonna make the activity type default. So we're not gonna change it to watching or whatever. We're gonna keep it the default. And I think the default is playing. So we're gonna type here instead, we're gonna use backticks. And then here we're gonna say with, so playing with client.guiles.cache.size. So this is gonna return the amount of servers, the amount of guilds that our bot is in right now. And here we're gonna type guilds or guiles, whatever you wanna say. And then down here below, we're gonna remove this semicolon. And we're gonna type .catch. So in case an error happens, we're gonna catch the error. And then we're gonna console.log the error. Alright, we're gonna hit Ctrl S to save, and this piece of code should be able to run our bot. But we don't have a token yet. So let's go and get the token. Alright, so there will be links in the description for everything that you need. We need to go to the developer portal within the Discord website. And once you're at this page and you logged in with your account, you need to create a new application. And here we can provide it a name. I'm gonna name it my bot, for example. Create. And then we're gonna go to the left side, the settings side, and we're gonna go and click on bot. And then we're gonna press on add bot and yes, do it. Before we do anything with the token, let's go and take a look at the privilege gateway instance. So let's enable this, and this, because we will be using them in future episodes. So it's very important that you enable them now to have yourself prepared for the next episodes. Alright, so once we have done that, we're gonna save changes and then we're gonna click here and reset token and yes, do it, never mind. Now, if you have a second factor authentication system, which I really recommend you should, then this menu should pop up for you and you should type the code that you get on your phone in here, just like that, and I'm gonna get my token. Now make sure you don't show this token to anybody else but yourself, because whoever has this token can control your bot without you ever knowing it. So I'm gonna reset my token after this episode, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just gonna hit copy. Once I've copied, I'm gonna go to my config.json, and then here I'm gonna create an object and a key inside of this object. I'm gonna call it token, and then I'm gonna add a value to that token, which is, the token key, which is the actual token of the bot. Alright, so we're gonna save out of that, and like we see here, we use client.config.token. So what this is gonna do is gonna go inside of this file, it's gonna access the token key, and it's gonna provide us with this token. Alright, now the next step is inviting our bot to our Discord server. So let's go to the second option here in the settings, which is OAuth 2. And let's go to the URL generator. Here we're going to be selecting bot, application commands, and general permissions is going to be administrator. We're going to copy this link and we're going to paste it inside of our browser. Now we're going to select a server. I'm going to select the tutorial server, and we're going to continue, authorize, and confirm that you're not a robot. And now if we go ahead to our Discord, we should see that my bot just landed, but it's offline. Right, so if you want to add a description to it, go back to the developer application menu and go to go to general information, and you can here add a description to your bot. Hello, this is my bot, for example. And now if you hit save and go to Discord, if you click on the name, it should be updated. Let's update. Okay, let's refresh Discord and it should pop up now. It didn't. Let's see when the bot starts, if it will. Alright, but this will eventually pop out. Maybe it's delayed for some reason. It doesn't matter really for now. But let's go ahead to our code now, and let's type in the console, let's clear it, or the terminal, and let's type node space dot, And now it should say client logged in as my bot. Now if you go to the Discord, you should see, or you will see, that the bot is online right now, and the status of it is playing with one guilds. Kinda grammatically fail here because we're only in one guide, but let's add this real quick, restart the bot, sorry, and we should be all good. I don't know why the description isn't popping up, but it will. It just takes some time, I guess. And by the way, if you want to add a picture to your bot, let's add the hacker bot picture in here, save changes, and it should update it right away, like we have seen here. Alright, so this is it. Now you have your project ready, and your bot is online. And keep in mind, whenever you exit out of Visual Code, it's gonna go offline, but it's fine because your bot is new and still in development. Stay tuned for the new episodes coming out. The next episode is gonna be creating an event handler and then a command handler. Then we're gonna go into the more advanced stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.